Move, baby. Move. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I hope you're doing well, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I just wanted to talk about, well, Christmas is coming. It's getting close. And I think a lot of people this year they're changing up how they do Christmas because so many people can't afford anything. They can't afford much this year, especially with this government shutdown. A lot of people aren't going to be getting their food stamps, from what I understand. So you can imagine how that's going to hurt a lot of people. Christmas has turned into such a massive consumerism holiday that it's just turned into too much. I think back when I was a child and we didn't have a million gifts under the tree. I don't know about you guys, but being 70, we're going back a long way for Christmas when I was a child. But no, we did not have tons of gifts under the tree. We would get one or two gifts from our parents, and my father would put oranges and bananas and he used to love those hard ribbon candies. You know what I'm talking about? The hard ribbon candies. He used to love those. So that's what would be in our stocking. Oranges, bananas, apples, and some hard ribbon candy. It wasn't filled with expensive or whatever gifts, our stockings, no. And we appreciated it, guys. We appreciated, I mean really appreciated what we got and took care of it. We took good care of it. And when I think about it now, I'm so glad I grew up that way, because I think back to the years that I had certain toys that I had for years. Like my Thumbelina, a Barbie doll, you know, little things like that, you know, you get one or two, you get a couple of gifts and you actually cherish them. We didn't have, you know, look down and see 10 million gifts under the tree. No, we didn't have that. Kids nowadays, it's just, I want, gimme, I want. That's all they think of, you know. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of people who are struggling now. You know, everything has gotten so expensive. Everything. I mean, food is outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous now. I've even seen online, you know, on some videos where people are saying they're foregoing Christmas. They're not going to be doing the whole Christmas routine because they simply can't afford it. Everything is too expensive. I mean, my God. And then the things that kids want nowadays, you know, electronics and stuff, which are far from cheap. It's gotten, you know, I think back to when I was young and the things that were considered great gifts, you know. I remember the wooden toys, you know, for little boys, maybe just a little train set. I remember my brother had a little train set. It's just turned into such a massive thing now that most people are struggling. I know for me personally, I can't buy expensive gifts. I can't do that. Luckily, like with my daughter, I'll tell her I can't afford more than, you know, say $15, $20. And she's like, Mom, we don't care about that. Whatever you give the kids, they'll be happy with. And with my older grandsons, who are 16 and 13, I believe, last year they just wanted cash, and so did my little grandson, who's 6. He wanted cash, so that made it nice and easy for me. That's what I'm going to do again this year. give them what I can afford in cash, and that's just the way it has to be. Too many people, you know, they go into debt. They go into debt for years to buy tons of presents and fancy foods and fancy treats and fancy this. I can't do that, and I know there are tons of people out there as well who can't do that, and you shouldn't put yourself into debt for Christmas. You absolutely should not. The whole meaning of Christmas was not how many gifts you can get. That's not what it was all about. That's what we turned it into. How many gifts am I going to get? How many gifts is Santa going to bring? You know, that type of thing. Yeah, the whole meaning of what Christmas is about, it's gone. We need to bring it back. Kids nowadays, they're just so entitled to get so much, and they don't take care of it. It's like, oh, well, that broke, I'll just have them get me another one. That's the way it is now, and I just think that's incredibly sad. I read the comments and a couple of the videos that I watched where people are saying, you know what, we just can't do this anymore. It's killing us financially. It's causing too much stress to put out that big meal and on top of the gifts and the treats and all this other stuff. You know, especially a lot for the elderly. A lot of the elderly who are struggling financially, they feel bad. They feel guilty that, you know, they can't go all out to buy their kids or grandkids all kinds of things. I know I can't. Like last year, I got my son Elliot and his girlfriend, I ordered them a nice thing of chocolates for both of them. And they loved it. They enjoyed it. I did the same for my daughter. It was a stacked box of, you know, just goodies for her and her husband. Because, you know, I have to watch my finances. I have to. And I'm not the only one. There are tons of people who they're just struggling. I see it in all the comments. My goodness, people are worried about being able to just buy food, pay their rent or mortgage, or make their car payment. Everything's so expensive now that people aren't being left with much money after taking care of all the necessities. So, yeah. How many of you feel that, you know, Christmas has just gone over the top with consumerism to the point that it just causes stress now? It's just a stress-filled holiday of, oh my God, I have to get this person, this kid, that kid. I have to. Oh, how many of you are doing that? I personally, I can't afford to buy expensive things. I just can't. And I look at it in the way that whatever a child gets for Christmas or whatever an adult gets for Christmas, they should just be appreciative that they were even thought of. That's the way I view it. It's a tough world out there right now, guys. It's a very tough world out there when it comes to finances. Very, very tough. People are struggling everywhere. They're just struggling. And you know, I can't do that to myself. I won't do that to myself. It's like I can give a little bit of cash to my grandsons. I have a little granddaughter that you know, I can buy her a little gift or two because she's still small. She's only 3, so, you know, and that kid has a room full of toys. Oh my God, does she have this stuff? But I could, you know, I could afford to get a couple of little, you know, little things for her. She doesn't know. She's not going to remember. She's 3. She's not going to remember Christmas or what Grandma got her. So just something to let them know I'm thinking of her, you know. A lot of people, you need to change it up. Don't stress yourself out to where you're planning on maxing out your credit cards just so you can please everybody. No, that's not what Christmas is supposed to be about. You know, it's just, I see it online. The more I read the comments and stuff, the more I see what Christmas is doing to people. It's ruining the holiday because of their fear of how they're going to afford everything. I just, you know, that's not how it's supposed to be, guys. We need to stop and think, look, here's what I can afford. You know, if the most you can afford for, say, your grandchildren or your own children, if you're younger and you have kids, if the most you can afford is go to Dollar Tree to buy them some things, they should be appreciative of that. They shouldn't be like, oh, well, gosh, you know, I didn't get a brand new bicycle. I didn't get a brand new motorized vehicle. I didn't get a brand new computer. No, it shouldn't be that way. We've turned Christmas into a thing of how special are the gifts? How expensive are the gifts? Ooh, how fancy are the gifts? That's what's happened, and that's just wrong in my eyes. Yeah, I can't see it anymore. I can't see people destroying themselves financially. I've read comments of people who said that it took them a few years to pay off the credit card debt they got from one Christmas. One Christmas. It took a few years. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I'm sorry. I know that, like, there's been some times in my life when it was, I don't know, a birthday or something, but for my daughter's kids, I couldn't afford more than Dollar Tree at the time. And she was like, Mom, that is fine. They appreciate anything you get them. They appreciate anything you get them. She's taught them that whatever you get, you would be appreciative of because that person thought of you. So you need to sit down and say, you know what, if you're already stressed about maxing those credit cards or spending what cash you've got saved up or whatever, if you're stressed already about spending all that on Christmas stuff, maybe it's time you sit down and have a talk with your family and say, look, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. It has gone overboard. Everything's too expensive. What the kids want now with all their electronics and stuff, I can't afford it. Maybe you need to just sit down and talk to your family and let them know you just can't this year. And I get it with the food thing too. You know, there was one I just read this morning where she said, I'm the grandma and I always used to hold the dinners. You know, I used to make the whole dinner and everything. She goes, I can't do it anymore. You know, the price of the turkey, the price of the ham, the price of this, the price of that. I guess one way around that would be that Grandma and Grandpa maybe make the turkey and everybody else brings a side dish. At least one side dish. You know, maybe that's one way around it. But I get it. I get what I was reading. Those people saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't even afford to buy all the food. I read one where she said, I can't afford to buy all the food for a Christmas dinner anymore. Just can't do it. There's a lot of people suffering. A lot of people living on a limited income. A lot of people who, you know, because of job loss or illness or whatever, and they missed out on work or been fired or who knows what, they can't afford all of this stuff. And I just think it's time we dial down Christmas. We dial it down a little bit. Enjoy the decorations, enjoy the lights, enjoy, you know, if you're lucky enough to get your family together for Christmas. I'm not lucky enough to be able to do that because of the stuff between my kids. Yeah, my kids are hanging on to stuff with each other, so I can't even have them all over one day. Can't do that. So, I don't know how I'm going to work it. I really don't. My son Nathan normally comes and stays with me Christmas Eve to the day after Christmas. So I guess I'll have to plan for the others to come at a different day. I don't know. It has caused me stress. But yeah, I think the whole consumerism thing has gotten out of control. Kids expect too much. They feel they're too entitled. You know, that they deserve to have this, and that. And of course, if a person can afford it, that's fine. But even then, still, it's like, I don't know. I just feel the whole meaning of Christmas has been wiped away with the expectation of a lot of gifts, nice gifts too. Like I say, if you're struggling, maybe it is time. Maybe it's time you just talk to the family and say, look, for you as a couple, I'm going to get you one thing. For you as a kid, I can't afford more than this. And just be honest about it. And if they're not appreciative of anything you give them, well, that's their problem, not yours. You need to take care of you when it comes to Christmas. You need to do what works for your life financially and emotionally. You really do, because Christmas can really put you in dire straits of debt. It really can. And I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, I know what I can and can't afford, and I'm lucky that my kids are very appreciative of anything I ever have given them, and my grandkids too. Times have changed. Things are too expensive. It's just not feasible for a lot of people anymore. There are people who say they are canceling Christmas. They're just done. Even my landlord, he told me that they got rid of all of their Christmas stuff. Got rid of it all. They're just not doing it anymore. And I can understand that. I really can. But anyway, guys, just wanted to talk to you about it. Hopefully you'll be able to work it out to where it works out for you. Don't worry about pleasing everybody 100%. Don't hurt yourselves to do that. No, don't do that. So take care, guys. I will talk to you later, and I hope you have a good one today. Bye-bye. Hi, baby girl.